Hey, friends out there, this is Thursday, June 29th, 2023, and it is just about 5:37 in the morning here in Northern California. You'll have to excuse my voice, I've been really struggling with the larynx. When I was a child, I was always susceptible to tonsillitis. But anyhow, I just wanted to apologize up front for talking a little quieter maybe than normal. I had to talk quite a bit the other day. But anyhow, well, I hope everybody's doing as well as they can in a crazy ass world run by maniacal, money loving madmen. It's not easy, friends. It's not easy being human. But I like it. I really think it's great to exist as a human being. I think it's a real honor. And I like to share that with others that we're really, really special creatures. I mean, when you think about it, the unlimited potential virtually, I mean, I don't know, it's inexhaustible, our potential to imagine. And once we can imagine stuff, man, we can achieve it, we can make it manifest. And we need to evolve, we really need to grow, we need to make a quantum leap. And, it's unfortunate that we're at a point, it's fortunate and it is a bittersweet moment in history. But knowledge is increasing. This is what's going on. People are starting to figure out how the scam works, how the scheme works. Okay, wherein lies the fraud truly in this world system? What's wrong with our species fundamentally? Why can't we learn to get along better and better? Why can't we all be fair with one another and share the planet? Look at things squarely through the Creator God's eyes without calling it religious, but just calling it cosmic. I mean, for God's sake, look, we are special creatures. I mean, do you need any more evidence than what you can already look around you and see? We're incredible, and like Scripture says, I mean, I don't know any other book that kind of lays it out for us. We're made in the image and likeness of God. Therefore, we are like God's children, very special, very unique creatures with virtually unlimited, inexhaustible ability to comprehend, to conceive, to imagine, to think, and do whatever we want. I mean, this idea that there's virtually uncountable planets just in our own galaxy that are habitable. When you think about it, I mean, if one goes to the dogs, maybe others succeed and achieve fairness for all the inhabitants of that planet. And that's what I think the goal needs to be. And for thousands of years, evil men have been getting their way. They've been flourishing in the land. And it has all to do with humanity's rolling over, surrendering, capitulating, acquiescing to the widespread, no, universal use of this entity we call money, right? It's so prevalent. Our lives revolve around money, and it is so evil. I mean, there's no other word. There's a reason for we have a word called evil. All right, leave religion out of it, but it's just something that's really, really bad. You really don't want anything to do with it. It's just mean. It's cruel. It's inhuman. It's a hater. It's a murderer. It's everything vile that you could imagine. That's that thing that doesn't like us, that's against us. And there's a whole slew of people that, witting or unwitting, most of them probably unwitting, they're going with that spirit just by succumbing, surrendering, capitulating, complying, conforming, having accepted their conditioning, their programming, their indoctrination, their brainwashing, their gaslighting, to just say, look, This is a path of least resistance. I can't go, where you're going. I just got to keep it simple. I get a good education, I make gobs of dough, and I succeed. That is what is smart. That is prudent. That shows you have common sense. It's all about money. How many people get an education because it's all about how much they can earn? How few out there really go to school and say, I don't care. I have no concern about making money. I just want to do what I want to do with my life. That's what I want to invest in. You see, all these people in society that work on farms, factories, and countless other places virtually. Excuse me, working for subpar wages. And I'm not saying that their wages need to go up. I'm just saying if there was a semblance of fairness in the social economic fiber, the structure, what has been engineered and put before us and said, this is what you got to accept because the capitalists rule and that's only right. Otherwise, what are you, Marxist? Are you a commie? Are you a bad person? Do we need to do an investigation and see, like back in the day, right? I forgot what they call it, but they were doing the communist hunting. Gee whiz. I mean, just being an egalitarian, people will accuse you of that. What is an egalitarian? It's somebody like Martin Luther King Jr. that just stood up for fairness. That's it. Justice, goodness, right. That's all I'm saying. I mean, when minimum wage, when I was a child in the 60s, you can look at the statistics online. The Labor Department has the statistics of how much minimum wage, federal minimum wage was. I mean, I don't even know if states had their own. I think it was all strictly federal. It was the same everywhere. But you'll have to do your own research to find out. But when it was about $1 an hour, um, if you worked a minimum wage job based on that 40 hours a week, that's devoting your life to a job, remember. That's certain times of the year that's sun up to sundown. And you could live a middle class life. Your wife could stay home, take care of the family. You'd have disposable income, live comfortably, be a homeowner. That's America I remember as a child, you see. And we talk about progressive and progress and all this crap. And I'm looking at the Democrats and Republicans, and I'm looking at the fact that the vast majority of these politicians, these leaders, are multimillionaires many times over. They're by default position, they're out of touch with reality. The reality is based on we the people, not we a select few people, a critical mass though, to get the job done, right? What do they care about raising the cost of living on people, causing inflation on purpose to make the poor pay the taxes? The hidden taxes, not so hidden anymore. I want people to wake up. How the scam works, how they take advantage of people, how they make it so people can't lift themselves out of poverty. They make it impossible. I don't care how hard you work at a job that's paying subpar. If it doesn't afford you enough from the onset, a starting position to be a homeowner, then it's subpar. Okay, you'll be a perpetual rent slave your whole life because it's just getting worse. I mean, my whole life has just been getting worse. It's just going downhill, man. They assassinated JFK. He was getting rid of the Federal Reserve, already circulating a new dollar. I mean, you do the math. What would they say in criminology? Cui bono? Who benefits? Now we owe these people 32 trillion. How do you think we're carrying the principal? How are we paying the interest on that principal? It's coming out of the backs of the poor by raising the cost of living. These politicians know they can always give themselves a raise, so they can they know in the back of their heads. I mean, could you imagine that? Knowing that you really don't care about the masses, how much they suffer under this, how much they despise their dollar being devalued constantly, eroding in worth, and it's a scam. Struggling young couple trying to dig themselves out of the financial sand pit they're in. And then the evil ones just keep coming in and dumping more sand on top of them. I mean, it's evil. If it's unfair, it's evil. Yet because I'm an egalitarian, because JFK was an egalitarian, because RFK, his brother, who also gave his life for the cause, Now we got RFK Jr. running for president, and the mainstream media is utterly ignoring him. Utterly ignoring. I haven't seen him on any of the major stations that I remember. Not even this new one that's out there, the National News Desk or whatever it's called, with that real cute girl that anchors it in the mornings. But I'm telling you, friends, we're in a heap of trouble, and God is angry. We're bad children. We really have, this love of money. You gotta hate it, man. It's true. We are all evil. That makes us evil. The Apostle Paul, like thousands of years ago. Now, this guy used to persecute Christians. He thought they were evil for calling Jesus like Son of God and all this. I don't know, but he was very zealous for God's, you know, will, but the right God. But he was out there persecuting him. But he became a big believer. But he had to have, what do you call it, a close encounter of the third kind, literally. You can read about that in the book of Acts. But this light from heaven comes down, a UFO, but it was blinding light. And Paul actually went blind. He got his eyesight back later, but he went blind from looking at the light. And Jesus talked to him out of this craft and told him, and he became a big believer. He became the biggest mouth for Jesus out there. Big mouth Apostle Paul. But he called himself the chief sinner. He said that, and remember what Christ said is those that have been forgiven most will love most. So God is a very peculiar, God's like a big kid, innocent, pure of heart, just out to have fun, enjoy himself. Doesn't want, to have to get pissed off. But that's what's happening. He's getting drawn into this fight. But it's good. It's like that spring being drawn back. That's why violence is the last thing the righteous want to do. That's what's happened historically. That was then. This is now, thank God. That's the good part of history where we're at. Like chapter 12, Daniel, where knowledge is increased, the hand of God. You are part of that instrument. The greatest honor we can ever achieve is just to be accepted as God's friend. Above all, that's the relationship he wants with us, is to understand that I'm your friend, I'm your parents, yes. But I've got no ulterior motive for not wanting the best for you. And then to be his friend, and by automatic extension, will become a friend and a servant to humanity. It just happens. We can't help it. There's these great instincts that are built into us that save us from the pit of eternal destruction, a Dante's Inferno-like existence. I mean, we can't succumb to these money lovers. We can't, and we can't, in our own hearts, we've got to purge it daily. Every one of us sins every day in many ways, like the Apostle Paul said. It's there. The temptation's always there. And we take it out on ourselves in other ways. We look for escapist way. People get into drugs and alcohol and all sorts. I mean, there's no end to the folly of mankind, right? We all know that. I need not go into all the particular vices, forms of escapism, ways we try to run, and all it does is bring us down, man. We sabotage our own happiness. We make ourselves miserable. There's self-loathing and all that crap that we're all pathetic. We're pitiable, and God knows it. There's no escape from it. But all the best we can do is to confess it and to ask for forgiveness. And most of all, ask to forgive ourselves and to be of one mind. You see, we could be double-minded. I think that's in the book of James, Talks about being double-minded. It's easy. We all do it. We can all be hypocrites. We can all be self-deceived. We can all be decadent. We can all be self-deluded, self-delusional. It's a very unfortunate human nature. I mean, and that comes from the fall of man. You have to read the beginning of the Bible to learn what happened, what went wrong, when God was so disgusted he wished he didn't create us. Thankfully, he didn't give up on us, else we may not exist